now listening to Kendra After Dark.
Hey, what's up? Thanks so much for coming back to Kendra After Dark. Tonight I have my friend Kimberlee with me.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know if I'm talking yet.
Yeah, you can talk. We're talking now. But I've known Kimberlee for since 2012. Yeah. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 7 years already?
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And I know that because we met each other at a previous job.
Yes.
So for all intents and purposes, that job is called LS going forward. So when we talk about it, that's definitely most of our time together.
Are they still in business? They're not.
I don't know. They pretend not to be in business, but I still see them
emails.
everywhere.
I get
emails all the time. And I'm like, is that other company sending them or is it you? It confuses me. I'm not sure. But anyway, so yeah, 7 years.
Yes, long time.
Definitely. What's like 3 random things about you that you want to let the listeners know?
I am left-handed.
The curse of the left-handed people.
I have a ton of left-handed problems. I'm always late, and
I could agree. You were late for our recording.
I'm always late. So, like, everything. And I am a Harry Potter nerd, but I'm pretty sure those who know me listening know that.
And what house do you represent?
Slytherin all day.
I'm a hardcore Harry Potter. What about an animal? If you're an animal, what would you be?
I would be a polar bear. That's also my Patronus, which is a Harry Potter reference. Polar bears, to me, represent strength and the ability to adapt to their surroundings, which reminds me much of my own life and journeys.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Do you like the cold weather also?
I do.
Yeah, see. I'll be a polar bear anytime.
What would your animal be?
That's a good question. A butterfly.
A butterfly.
That's an animal, isn't it?
I
mean, it's an
for
insect,
this case, yeah.
I would love to be a butterfly because I love seeing butterflies anyway. They
Like,
always make me feel happy, so I would be able to like make others feel happy when I fluttered past them.
are you talking like you start as a caterpillar?
Well, definitely. That's how it works.
I don't know. You could just be a butterfly and skip that whole part.
Well, nah. I'll be the ugly ass caterpillar first, cocoon myself up, and then be that beautiful, beautiful butterfly that everybody points at all the time.
They don't have a very long lifespan.
True, but I feel like they just have like such a free nature. They like walk around, caterpillars, they just eat shit, and then they become something different. Kind of like you, they adapt, they like totally change and adapt to a different life.
Yes.
They're like, now we fly.
Is that like a metamorphosis?
Yeah, I guess a butterfly, that would be my favorite. What about your most embarrassing moment?
For me, it's embarrassing.
It better be really embarrassing.
For my poor mother, it's embarrassing. The Quick Mart on, I get my streets wrong, 29th and Saguaro, like the ghetto.
Yeah, I know. I used to live right there. That's funny. I used to live right behind that Quick Mart.
Okay, so you know it's trash then.
Twice in my life, yeah.
Okay. I used to live on 26th Street by Corbett.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's funny.
That's where I went.
That's like where my dad grew up, was on 26th Street.
I'm sorry for him.
No, back then it was still nice.
That's true.
Also, very different.
So my mom and I rode our bikes to this Quick Mart, and I was the type of kid that, like, I'm just accident prone. It just doesn't matter. So I was walking and probably not looking where I was going, and you know those little spin carts that, like, you turn and it's got, like, all that crap on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I ran into one of them, and then, like, they just all fell. And my mom was super embarrassed, and I was embarrassed. And then we were leaving, and the guy's like, bye, klutz, and then... But it was embarrassing. I was only like...
Was it only that one day, though? Or did they recognize you?
No, it was the rest of the time. I had to only be like 8 too, so I didn't ever want to go back inside there.
You're like, man.
I do have another one where I was in middle school, Dodge, and I was on a sports team. You know those little snap-away pants? Mm-hmm. I was wearing them.
They were all the rage for a while.
Yeah, and my mom's like, it's not a good idea to wear them to school. I'm like, nah, I'm good. And this kid thought it'd be hilarious to just snap them all away in the middle of the hallway during passing period. So I kind of got de-pantsed in middle school.
So you were
grade.
middle school. What kind of underwear were you wearing then?
Oh, just plain white bikini.
You didn't move into the thongs yet? Because middle school is when girls started wearing thongs for me.
I was pretty sheltered. I was not allowed to wear thongs or buy them until I had my own job with my own money.
That makes sense.
So no, I was not wearing thongs.
You were like, I was wearing regular old white panties.
Yeah, I guess that's good for me, right?
Did a lot of people see?
Oh yeah, it was during passing period. So
And whoever did it, did you know them or?
No.
It was just random and they were like, she has those button pants on?
Yes, and I went to the office, like, mortified. And my mom's like, nothing you can do about it now, so you need to get back to class, and I'll be there to pick you up after. And I was like, okay.
That's kind of a bummer. That's not really what I was looking for as far as
Support.
your help. Thank you.
Yeah, she's like, I told you not to wear them or to wear shorts under them, and you didn't, so...
You're like, I guess it is kind of my bad.
But I don't even know, like, kids
That's way
today...
embarrassing.
Kids today, though, would probably still do that, I guess.
Yeah.
But back then, that was considered, like, really, really, really mean.
Yeah. Somebody got pantsed in middle school at my school, too. It was a guy, though. And the funny thing is he was wearing really funny underwear.
Oh.
So he was definitely wearing, like, nut-hugging underwear.
I bet you that's worse for a guy then, because then that's, like, boxers.
And he was
or
wearing,
briefs
like, shorts, so... And someone came in and pulled his shorts down. He had, like, basketball shorts on. And I remember he had, like, what looked to be... maybe a blue thong on. It might not have been a thong, but it was definitely like hugging them. You know what I mean? Forever. I was like, I'll never forget you. But I went to the dispensary today and it was pretty cool because they had an event going on for this company called Good Things Coming, which is based in Phoenix here. And they have these edibles, which they had a little table, so I got to try them there, like the different flavors. But I picked up the LaCucaracha Chile Fruit Jellies, and they are 10 milligrams each, and there is 100 milligrams in a bag. So the cool thing about today is $12, and it was buy one, get one free.
Oh, wow.
So I got 2 bags.
So how many would you have to eat for that to equal what you normally would smoke?
10 milligrams is a pretty good dose. So just eating one candy, I should definitely feel it anywhere between, like, I would say 30 minutes to 2 hours.
Now, this isn't like the indica, right?
This is a hybrid.
So we're going to be cheerful?
It'll be half and half.
Okay.
But yeah, no, and it's so good. It has mango, chili, lime, sugar, and citric acid and salt. And so it's definitely like a good little Mexican candy type of tasting. And they're delicious. So I would definitely, flavor-wise, these are good.
Are they like Salitos?
God, that sounds so good right now. Now I want some of those. This legit is like you know those little watermelon lollipops that have chili powder on them?
Yes.
It like tastes like that kind of candy, but it's with like mango, a mango one. I think they have them. They have the mango chili covered lollipops. That's what this tastes like.
Sure.
They're really good though. So I guess we'll see. I ate one. I'm gonna see how
Well,
that makes me feel.
I'm drinking Moscato, bought at Safeway, and
it's very tasty.
nothing super special.
It's super good. But these jellies will get you, I feel like definitely they could get me caught up because I ate that one right now and it tasted really good, but I already want another one.
Really?
Yeah, because they're just yummy. I like really, but I do like the chili, the spicy and sweet candies. So this is perfect. They had other flavors too though. There was like a lime one, I believe, and then the other one was pomegranate.
Okay.
So pretty.
Pomegranate sounds pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. But at Good Things Coming on Instagram for this company, and they have a lot of good looking stuff. I was looking at the website today.
Their
So I'm
packaging is
interested.
really pretty.
Yeah, it's super cute, and I'm interested to see how it makes me feel here by the end of the show. And like I was telling you, everybody is kind of different, so it might hit me immediately. It could take a little bit longer. For edibles, I usually feel like a calmness. My anxiety isn't usually super high, and kind of like a buzzing where any pain
It's
would
not like when
usually
you
be.
first drink and like your body starts to hurt.
Yeah.
It's not like that though.
That only happens to me when I'm like super drinking, not just first drinking.
Oh.
When I was like drinking a lot, partying my ass off back then. But so the whole reason I asked Kimberlee to be on the show, if you were not aware, is April 21st through the 27th is Infertility Awareness Week. And, it's definitely a topic that some people put out there and are very open about, and some people, do not. They're very private and keep it to themselves. But I wanted to, bring some awareness on some of the, the stats and I guess the realness of everything surrounding infertility and those people that have those issues or deal with anybody who has infertility in their family and friends. But the cool thing about this week is #Infertility Uncovered, and that is, this whole program that was basically put together just to raise awareness. And what they're doing is they're letting people know about the lack of access to family building options. Like, if you want to have kids, but you don't have insurance or your insurance doesn't cover it.
With like the IVF treatments and the...
Exactly. And then they're also offering emotional support for millions of men and women who are having the infertility issues. And the kind of big thing, one of the things that I read when I was going over all the different things I could find online was about men.
Yeah.
And it seems like infertility is growing in men.
I don't think a lot of them realize like everything that factors into making a baby, because I think a lot of people assume they won't have a problem with it and it's just part of what they can do. But yes, it's definitely popular in men. And I don't think they...
Yeah, and they said, like, basically, in a 2017 study, they were checking it out with just men. They said between 1973 and 2011, there was more than 50% decline in the sperm counts among men in North America, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. So, like, what the hell are those people doing that all of a sudden you don't have 50% of the sperm count that they did back in the day? I mean, and this is between 73 and 2011. You would think everything before 73 we were kind of shitty about still in life.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Definitely.
damn, you had all the sperm you needed. So it's crazy.
I wonder if there was like a certain drug that just produced sperm.
Well, one thing that I did read is it says that a big cause of infertility in men that's overlooked a lot is bodybuilding hormones, like steroids
That makes
and
sense.
testosterone.
All the like pre-workout things you put in your body.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely like changing, what's going on in there chemically for you.
Yes.
And then obviously obesity.
Now you have me questioning it. I don't know.
It is.
Can we just say overweight? An unhealthy weight? But I
That is
call
so
bullshit.
funny.
I call bullshit on that because I know plenty of people that are overweight that still can have a kid just fine.
Well, yeah, I had kids just fine and I'm overweight. But I mean, I know that definitely that causes some issues, but I think that also goes along with a great number of people that are overweight also have PCOS.
Yes.
And that causes a lot of issues with having babies.
For sure.
So I feel like that's something that kind of goes hand in hand. But then it's like, drug use and alcohol consumption. And I do believe alcohol consumption obviously went up crazy amounts during that time.
Yes.
Because I graduated in 2006 and we were getting drunk as fuck graduation. And then I was getting drunk as fuck for like years after that.
I think it also has to do with like age too. Like we're not the only one that has a maternal clock ticking because as you get older, your sperm, they're less fertile or there's like defects in them. And then you're prone to higher risks of other issues.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it's definitely something that is affecting a lot of people, men and women. And I brought you on the show specifically because I know you are one of the people that are affected.
I am.
And I just wanted to know, like, when you found out, or were you actively trying to get pregnant when you found out about the fertility issues?
So I think when I first found out, I have to like go to my early 20s. I went and did a girly exam, and I didn't do one of those for a while because I wasn't really sexually active. You should get them done regardless, but in my head I justified it. So I finally went and got that done, and then it came back with abnormal cells, and then I did more blood work, and it turns out that my body does not create progesterone, so I have a cycle every 28 days like clockwork. I just don't have the hormone needed to release the egg. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I knew in my early 20s that I couldn't get pregnant, and I did. I guess I can't say I actively tried. I never did birth control. I did try and regulate my hormones.
You
but that
never took birth control?
Never. No, I didn't really see a need to. If I can't have a kid, then there's really nothing there for me to prevent.
Yeah.
So I never did that, and I wasn't really sexually active at that time, so I didn't really see a need for it.
Yeah. I think, so for me, I definitely was sexually active younger, so I started taking birth control right away. And that's something I've always kind of thought about, was like how much that alters you too.
Yeah, because
like
it fucks with your
balance.
hormones and your levels and what your body naturally creates and then other things.
Right, definitely. So when you found out, what was your reaction?
So I always thought I would travel when I was growing up, and I never really pictured myself having a family. But I think it's kind of like that whole when you're told you can't, then you start thinking, well, what am I missing out on? Like, you know? So I was super angry because I felt like something that my body should be able to naturally do on its own, it couldn't do. So I think that was kind of hard for me to accept that, like, I can't have a child. I guess out of everything in my life, I never thought like that would be an issue.
Yeah. So when you were younger growing up, did you want kids?
Yes and no. Like, I think...
Because you mentioned you thought of traveling.
Yes.
But I mean, did you ever like see yourself taking care of babies?
So here's how selfish and terrible this sounds. I did want a child, but I wanted to be a single mom because I didn't want to have anybody else tell me how to raise my child. And I knew it would be hard, and I understood that, like, obviously it would require way more work. But then I would be able to still travel when I want to travel, and I wouldn't have to worry about being told no to certain things. I would have a really hard time compromising now if I had a child, because I feel like you can't tell me no.
Yeah.
So
with my first daughter, I definitely was a only parent. And then even like my ex who helped raise her, you know, that's not her real father. So I definitely always had like, you know, my say is my say. And then I had a second kid, and that one, you know, her father was very involved. And it's very different because you do have to think about, like, well, what does this other person want?
Right.
You know what I mean? And
I don't want to have to think about that. I just want to be like, hey, we're going to do this. And as long as they don't object and throw tantrums, then that's what we're doing. So that kind of brings me into my next battle with when I found out I couldn't have a child of my own, I had to figure out if I was okay dating somebody who did have a child.
Right.
Because with that comes, like, obviously whatever baby mom and then their family. And it's just a lot of, like, meshing together. And not a lot of people are mature enough to approach a situation like that.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the situation and where those two people left off, I think, also.
Yes. So,
you know, it's hard when you have a kid with someone.
So when we were working at LS and I started seeing this guy on our team.
Yeah, I remember him.
I'm not going to mention names just because. So when I started dating him, he had a daughter and she was super young. Like, I think I met her when she was 8 months old. So that was really hard because I couldn't have a baby, and then, like, here I am around one all the time, and now it's like I get to do the feeding and the diapers and basically everything, but without it being, you know, mine. So that was a pretty terrible experience in a sense that, like, the baby dad and mom were not able to co-parent without battling. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the petty stuff from, like, their separation/divorce transferred over into their current relationship. So any, like, bonding I did with the child or anything that I purchased, there was always, like, a backlash for it because I'd be told, stop playing house with a child that's not yours. If you want one so bad, have one with them. And those are, like, just little jabs, you know? I'm just like, this little bitch. So that was super hard to get accustomed to or accept. And
yeah, that's kind of hard to hear from somebody, too. And then it's like, I mean, do you want me to really have a baby with him? Or are you just saying that?
Right. And then, like, quite honestly, you should be happy that he's with somebody that includes your child in a positive manner and way versus having to worry about, like, what type of environment the father is putting the child in.
Yeah, I would definitely want somebody who's going to be super good to my kids around them.
Right. And
you know what I mean? I want my kids to be like, I like them. I don't want them to be like, I don't like her or whatever. That's not something I want.
Yeah. So one of the battles that I hope I never go through again would be, I had never met the baby mom yet. It was always just through, like, text message or whatever.
Right.
And I was about to go on a family vacation with the guy I was dating, and everything was already, like, booked and set to go. And we were going to Florida for a week. And I don't know, you had to be on my team at that point. So I was still on Dawn's team.
Yeah.
And I got served.
Shout out Red Dragons Radio.
Yes. Best supervisor ever.
Yes, true. We bonded over Tech 9.
You know, and I'm gonna bring Dawn up again when I tell you my pregnancy story. So anyway, we were at work, working, answering our emails, and the HR lady comes up to me, and she asks to see me in her office, and I always joke, I'm like, oh, do I need to give you my badge? Where's my box, you know? And
I used to do that at that job too. That's so sad. Where's the men in suits?
Right, I'm like, well, where's security at? But the freaky thing is like we went into an office, and like there's an officer, and I was like, oh shit, who died, you know?
Like a police officer?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I immediately like thought something was wrong with my family, but he just hands me some paperwork, asks me to sign it, and then makes sure that I understand it, and then he leaves. Like that's all he does. So it turns out that the baby mom served me with a restraining order at work to stay away from her daughter. And just to remind you, I had never met this girl yet, but I'd already been dating this guy for, man, months. So I called.
Only stay away from her daughter or her too?
I don't remember. I'd have to look at the copy of it. I know the kid was definitely in there.
Huh.
I can't remember if the mom included herself or not. You know, just for argument's sake, she probably did.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had to call the guy I was dating in there, and I started like flipping out and freaking out. And here's the kicker. So they moved in with me to my house. So they left their apartment. The dad and the child moved in to my house.
Right.
I gave up my office so he can have his man cave, and then I gave up another room so that his daughter can have her own room. So that was their place of residency, right?
Yeah.
Well, the restraining order had that address on it because that's the listed place of residency. So until I could go in front of a judge and fight this, I had to
stay away from your house?
Yep. I had to relocate the days that he had her because that was the address listed. And wouldn't that be the week that, you know, she was just so adamant on him having extra time with her. So I had to pack up my dogs and I had to relocate. And a couple of days I stayed with a mutual friend, and then the rest of them I'm pretty sure I stayed with my parents. But I was so pissed. I was like, why don't you just go to your parents' house? You know, like I have to pack up my dogs and my shit. Like, why don't you go take her to your parents' house? So then I had to get like a bunch of character letters together to advocate for me, and I had to take time off work to go to the court and fight this. And literally the first time I met her was in the chair next to me at the courthouse. So we went in front of a judge. I had to explain to the judge, I never even met her, like, you know, and then I had to show all these character letters. I didn't have to, but like, it's better if you can advocate for yourself,
it's good
you know?
to have character letters.
So I had a list of character letters. I had pictures printed out of like how happy she is, and you know, everything's fine. She did look like an idiot though, because I told the judge, I was like, I literally have never met her. Like, this is my first time even seeing her in person.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it kind of blew my mind that like you would be that drastic so quickly, and it was over a Facebook post.
Like, did you post her kid?
No, that was another problem too. But no, the post, it was something, and you know how like when you joke around and you're like, I'll cut you, or
yeah.
you know, like I'll cut a bitch, I'll cut you.
Yeah.
So she took that, cropped it, and said that me saying a statement like that made her feel like her daughter is in an unsafe environment.
She was creeping your social medias to find stuff like that?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Also, I had a picture, I think it was the three of us, and she wrote me to take it down. And so I brought that up in court too. I was like, she wrote me to take a picture down. I did. I don't even understand like why we're having problems. And the judge is like, so did you ever go back and look and see if she took the picture down? And she was like, no. So it's just kind of like, what the hell? So
yeah, that would be hard to deal with, especially if you're not able to have your own kids and you're like, well, I'm being good to your kid. Like, what is your deal?
Right. Like, I would buy, it's not about buying things either, but I would buy like the clothes, the shoes. You know, we had a good relationship, and I think that's what I take away from dating the guy so much, is that in spite of like every single thing that we went through, this child, not that she would remember, but if she did, would have zero bad memories.
Yeah.
With me.
It's good to be a good person, like no matter the situation. And especially to kids. Kids don't want to know all the bad stuff.
Yeah, but I remember I sent you screenshots of those Facebook messages that she used to post about me. Remember that long paragraph one where she was trying to like...
Yes, I do remember that
call me out and all this other crap. And so that battle never ended, actually. It was throughout our whole 3.5 years, which
and you
sucks.
can still find it online if you look for it really closely.
Oh, yes, you sure can. What sucks too is because I do have infertility, and I don't know how this happened, but I ended up pregnant in July, but you're going to tell me with the year. 2013 then, right? We started 2012?
I started the end of 2012. And
Okay,
I
so
don't know
2013. Okay.
yeah.
So July of 2013, I got pregnant. And
I remember that because I remember he told me, I remember you told me.
right, we did tell quite a few people. So I was sitting at my house and I was with my friend Vanessa and my sister-in-law, and I was like, man, like, I was going over shit, and she's like, no, you're pregnant. I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm pregnant. Like, I can't get pregnant. And then if anything, it's a false positive, because that happens, right? So we go and get a test, a lot of them, and I take them, and they're all super duper positive. And I wanted to tell him, like, in a really cute way. So Bisbee was kind of our spot. So I was like, hey, let's go to Bisbee and just hang out for the night. So we got in the car, we drove to Bisbee, and then I took a pregnancy test, and I was like, hey, I really want to show you something. And then I told him there, and he was super excited about it. And then we started thinking about, like, how his child would have a sibling, and they're going to be so close in age. You know, you just kind of, like, let your mind wander about, like, all the cool things that are going to happen.
I mean, you're pregnant, so it's definitely, like, a life-changing thing, because you're like, oh, wow. And especially in your case, because you didn't think you could get pregnant.
No. So it was very shocking that I did. And then I started thinking, well, man, like, what are we going to do when this baby mom finds out that I'm pregnant? And it didn't matter that they were already separated and everything. It's just she had already made things, like...
kind of difficult.
Kind of, yes, difficult and trying for me to adjust to, that, like, I couldn't imagine now having to deal with, like, this, too.
Right.
So I'm going to mention Don again, too, because when I was pregnant, it was the same time his wife was pregnant with his daughter.
Oh, yeah. That's right. She's so cute.
And so I would have to pee all the time. And Don's like, I don't even think my wife pees that much pregnant. So
I used to pee all the time too, dude.
So he used to give me a hard time about that.
I was pregnant on his team for a little bit too, and I peed all the time.
But not in a bad way. Just as you're peeing again. I'm like, yeah, I hate it just as much as you do.
Right.
So yeah, quite a few people knew. And then I ended up having complications in September. I know I quoted you the date before. Whenever that Grand Theft Auto 5 release date came out. So that is when I had my
when GTA
miscarriage.
5 came out?
Yes.
Ugh.
So the guy I was dating...
And you said you had a miscarriage, right?
Yes. So the guy I was dating, we had a lot of not so nice issues that we would carry over. And so I told him, I said, hey, I'm not feeling right. We're going to go into ER. Could you meet me there? And he couldn't meet me there. And so throughout the night, I had, like, my ultrasound. And
He couldn't meet you there. Why?
I'll get to that in a second.
Well, that's so weird. It's like we're together and... Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have the ultrasound and stuff, and, like, I could see my mom trying to be brave, but she pretty much already knows, like, where this is headed, you know? So that's when I found out that I was in the process of a miscarriage. I was, like, beside myself sad, you know, like, really disappointed that I knew I couldn't get pregnant, but I thought because I did, my body would be able to at least carry it, you know?
Yeah.
But
you
it
were like,
couldn't.
damn, I did it.
So it was kind of like a double bam, you know, like, oh, I could, but I can't carry it. So it's kind of just shitty as, like, not being able to get pregnant.
Right.
So I was texting him, and I was like, hey, you know, can you still meet me down here? I'm having a miscarriage. And I'm not making this up. You can still find this if you're friends with him on Facebook, and you go back to this date. I'm not even shitting you. So he told me he couldn't come because this was the release date of GTA 5.
Oh, it was the game.
The game.
Oh, jeez.
And so his picture on Facebook is his pizza that's, like, half gone, and it says, like, pizza stuffed or whatever, or game night, and it has, like, his GTA 5 and his pizza. And I looked at the time it was posted, and I compared it to, like, our text messages and phone call and stuff, and I was like, what a fucking asshole. Can't be there because of a fucking video game release.
Right.
So that was really shitty.
Yeah, that's definitely not a cool thing to have to sit there and deal with on your own.
No, and even after that, I was just like, man. So I had to do a follow-up appointment, and then that just kind of, like, reconfirmed my inability to get pregnant on my own because I don't have progesterone. So fast forward to, like, months later, I was meeting this fertility specialist, and they put me on Clomid. So Clomid forces your body to ovulate, regardless.
Okay.
So in my head, I'm like, man, that's really fucking cool. I'm going to ovulate. I'm going to release the egg.
It's going to prep you.
But I didn't start to think that, like, well, what if the egg it's releasing isn't good because I don't have the hormones to, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, they say, I mean, just when I was going over the information online, it's like 10% of women that suffer from infertility. And I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's from them not having the progesterone.
It's all hormone balance. And balancing your hormones is probably one of the most frustrating things you can try and do.
It's hard to freaking balance my hormones on my own.
Yes, because the doctors will tell you it's diet and it's exercise, and sometimes I'm like, not really, because look at the other person in here, and they're super not healthy, but they're carrying a pregnancy just fine. Right. So you can't sit there and tell me it's because I eat honey buns instead of Cheerios, or whatever.
Yeah.
So...
Did having the miscarriage affect your relationship?
Yes, a lot.
In a negative way, or?
Yeah, because for a while, he tried to, make it about himself, what he lost. And I'm like, you have one right here. And I'm not dismissing the importance of, one versus the other.
Right.
But, you didn't even go with me for the miscarriage aspect part of it. So I don't think you get to sit here and, be sad that it's gone now.
Right.
And he got mad because I had my friend Brittany tell the team that I miscarried, and that's why I wasn't there for a couple days.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the text message I got was, I should have been the one to tell him. I'm like, why? You didn't even show up to the hospital. So, what the fuck do you care? But yes, it did. Because it's kind of either you realize that you do want to build and establish with this person, or you don't. And so we did, but when we would get in fights, he would say things like, well, I want a bigger family, and you can't give me that,
Right.
So just little jabs. I'm like, damn.
That would be super tough to deal with too. I would be like, bitch, maybe it was your fault. Even if I already knew the issues I was going through, I'd be like, your shit just wasn't good enough. That other kid's probably, no, go off fire. That other kid's probably not yours. No, I would just jab, but that's how I am. I'm petty,
I mean, we did cute
super
things
petty.
too. We would bring up this app, and you would put your pictures, and then it would merge it into what a baby would look like, or your kid or a toddler.
Didn't
I was
you guys,
man, ours
keep
would look
track
really fucking
of
cute.
How many times you had sex and stuff too, though?
Yeah, so trying to have a child makes you feel like a real slut sometimes. And I know it's with one person, but when you don't know, this Clomid that I was on really fucked with me. So you don't know if you ovulate early or late.
Right.
So you just kind of have to sperm lives 72 hours at least. Mm-hmm. So for us, the doctor's every other day. So literally we would every other day. Yeah. But I would be so crazy on Clomid, I would not even want to have sex with myself. So there's
just because anger, you mean? Or?
Anger, yeah. There's this one time where he was making dinner, and I said, don't give my dog any of that. And then I'm sure he thought he was being playful and cute, and he would go like this in front of me and give my dog some, and I would just lose my
to taunt you. You're
shit, And then I told him, well, we have to have sex because I just paid money for this and I just went through all of this. So, you need to get over my attitude, understand it's because of this, and we just need to power through it. Mm-hmm. But that obviously impacts intimacy, and, then you're just doing it to do it. And then when people tell you trying is fun, no, it's fucking not. It is not fun.
It's not like Chandler and Monica, because that's,
no.
They did it everywhere.
Yeah,
Closet in the hospital.
But I did keep track, and it was a lot.
Yeah. I'm I when you told me that, I was like, oh my god, if I ever kept track of sex, that could be, I've never done that before. And I could just see that going so wild.
I think it's because we were sitting there one night, and I was looking through these months, and I'm like, man, this is fucking terrible. And he's like, well, it's with the same person, and it's for a reason. And I'm like, yeah, but still, I would never have thought this was possible.
Right, definitely.
To have it that many times in that length of time you were trying.
So, does it make you feel weird when you get birth announcements or invited to baby showers?
Yeah. So I don't think people understand that I can be happy for you and I can acknowledge that, and I will even buy you a gift, but I don't want to be there. I don't have fun in the baby games, and to me it's just
process for you.
It's just too much. And it's not even that I'm thinking, man, this could be me, and then it brings me back to my miscarriage or where I'm currently at in life. But then I'm just kind of yeah, I'm just a salty bitch right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and we'll just catch up.
Right.
But
that makes sense.
Close friends, I will go. I've gone to a couple, and I've actually genuinely had a good time. But I don't ever really stay more than an hour and a half, and then I'm just out.
Do you get that unsolicited advice from people?
I do. If your friend was trying to have a child, what advice would you give them?
To put their legs up over their head after they have sex every time.
So I got that one, which I'm like, guys, it doesn't fall right back out of me, and I don't know.
It depends on what you're doing, because if you get up and run around, it's falling out.
Not all of it.
Bitch, it's coming.
It comes out
it's coming out.
20-something miles an hour. Is it 20-something miles an hour? Google that. How fast does sperm shoot out? Seriously.
How fast does it shoot in your eyeball?
Well, I'm not gonna Google an eyeball, but I am going to Google.
Well, I think regardless of that, like, it is going to come out. That advice I would give to someone just because that's like that old wives' tale that I've always heard.
Yeah, I've heard that, like, just relax and it'll happen when you least expect it. And people like that, I just want to punch in the throat. Like, I can't smile and be like, yeah, I haven't heard that one before.
Right.
You know, because my progesterone doesn't give a fuck if I'm stressing about it or not. Like, I just don't have it.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of shady advice like that.
What's the worst one you think?
Did I tell you one the other day and I just can't remember? Worst one.
Probably just the relax one. I think that's the one that you've told me about a couple of times.
The relax is only because, like, if you're paying for fertility treatments or you're paying for meds, like, you can't really relax about that because you want to get your money's worth and you want to, like, optimize, like, your chances. So there's really no relaxing if you're actively trying. Even if you don't have infertility, you still need to track your ovulation and you need to pay attention to, like, your cervical mucus and all that crap. So I don't really think you can ever...
Yeah, it's definitely...
Relax.
There's so much shit that you have to pay attention to in this female body. It's ridiculous. It's like,
yes.
Oh, by the way, make sure you feel up your boobs all the time. I'm sure you like that.
And for the guy, you can't jack off and then go have sex 20 minutes later and expect to shoot, you know...
amazing amounts of sperm.
Yeah, like, there's just a lot you have to be on the same page with.
Do you have any plans, like, for having kids in the future? Or do you want to try to have kids again? Or, you know...
I wanted to do IVF. That's like $15,000. And then I thought, maybe if I just pay for some random sperm and then just shoot it up myself and take my chances. But I would still need to pay for the Clomid or hormone injections.
That's why the infertility uncovered thing is so important.
Yes, which still puts you up at, like, the thousands. So my friend, she married her girlfriend, and in order for them to have a kid, they paid for the sperm, which is $500 each time. You have to pay for the hormone shots to prep your body for it.
I can go get drunk and get some sperm.
I mean, if you want to, if it's that easy. And then for the doctor to put everything in. And it took them 3 cycles, so that cost them $10,000.
Might be kind of weird if I'm like, hey, will you put that sperm in a jar for me? Immediately throw it in the freezer.
I wish it was that easy to do that.
So what kind of advice would you give someone else who is going through a similar situation?
The only effective advice I can give is to make sure you mentally check yourself so that you're not becoming bitter. I obsessed on different things often, which were not healthy, and I would beat myself up over about, like, not being able to just do what everybody else can do. So when you start getting negative, then I feel like you hone in on all the bad shit going on, and so when you get that negative test, then that's just like one more thing on top of it. So my best advice would be to learn to love yourself and your flaws, and just check your mind when you're going through the process, and take a break when you find that you're just starting to get super bitter and negative.
Self-care. That's what I hear. Definitely take care of yourself. Make sure that you're aware of the situation, obviously, because you don't want to pretend that the situation's not there. But I feel like if you at least understand your situation and look at the positives, like you said, instead of the bad stuff.
Yes, you also need to have a supportive partner, though. Otherwise, you're just wasting your money and time.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yep.
Most definitely. Well, I definitely liked these good things coming, little fruit jelly things. LaCucaracha is a funny name, but it's chili covered mango. They were 10 milligrams each, and I definitely feel it, and I'm pretty high. And my back feels pretty good, but I feel like a head high, so that's cool. And I'm going to try the other ones, the pomegranate ones, so I assume the flavor is going to be just as good also. But I definitely think I would probably buy these even just for $12. Like, if I didn't get the buy one get one free like I did at the event today, just because I think that I like the flavor so much, and to plus know that I'm getting that little hit of THC in there too. It's like, okay, cool.
And it's convenient for those that can't smoke.
Yeah.
To find release on the pain.
Hell yeah, edibles are awesome. And then the little candies, like, these are cool because, like I said, I like the Mexican candy stuff, so this tastes just like that. That's, like, perfect for me, you know? Was there anything else you wanted to talk about while I had you on the show today?
Just really quickly, the guy I'm dating now has a child, and the situation's second time around is way better and healthier. So
No restraining orders.
no restraining orders, no like crazy text messages about playing house.
You definitely don't want that. Like, come on, man. I'll play
No.
house with you. You can play my maid. You know what they say.
Yes. So one bad experience does not damn them all. So I just take what I learned from the first one, apply it to the second one, and
No, that is not what you want.
yes, I'm much happier.
That's good. I'm definitely glad that you're in a better place. So I appreciate you coming on the show. And, like I said, I got these good things coming, the edibles today, the fruit jellies at Saints. One of my favorite places, obviously. It is on Broadway and Kolb. And the bag of 10 of them for 100 milligrams, it was $12. So pretty decent amount. And just make sure that you are tuning in, subscribing. If you like the show, leave us a review. Definitely appreciate that. You can visit the website at www.Kendraafterdark.com. Send us an email if you have any questions, anything you want us to go over on the show. I'm always willing to
Or
listen
advice and resources.
right, anything. That's true. Definitely make sure that if you also have issues with infertility, hashtag infertility uncovered, make sure that you're letting other people know that they're not the only ones who are going through issues like that. We want to get the resources to people who want to have families or who want to attempt to try it. Like, I understand it's not always going to work out, but it would be nice to at least go through the process, have the option.
I didn't know about that website resource, so I will be checking it out.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of great stories, a lot of different people that, are going through similar things, and, just a community of overall good people. Also, make sure to check us out on Red Dragons Radio. Red Dragons Radio,
Best website ever!
definitely one-stop shop for a bunch of different types of podcasts. You can go and check out drunk girls talking about everyday life,
Entertainment news.
reviews of movies, anything like that. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight, and we can't wait to check back in with you next week.
Have a good week!